is a short recording out of an hour and a half. So any questions so far? Now, I have to emphasize this is his view. It doesn't represent the MoDev DC group. So that is Florian Miller about, oops.
Did you ask him who pays his salary?
No.
Because he has never published that.
No, I don't think he will answer that question though. So that is Florian Miller, who talks about the issue a lot, and he also talks about the fear, meaning to fight costs a lot of money, which I think we'll address. Rick may address. So now what I want to do next is a quick walkthrough of myself for the first 20 days. Now, it's not just for me. I try to look at it like, if you ask me, ever since I started advertising for this meetup, I've been getting emails of people from the Lotus situation about what do I do. And then within our group, I got sued by Microsoft, and right now there are 30 companies who got sued. So since I got being asked this question, I figured I put it out there, and so here is what do you do? All right. So I try to stay focused, and I say slide one is panic, and I think it's important. Oh. I don't have it. All right, sorry. Thank you. How do I turn it here? Right. So, on day one, you panic. Yes.
At some point, are you going to give us a better overview of what exactly these lawsuits are about?
Yeah. What kind of apps?
I mean, like, I understand you're getting sued, but I don't know for what or what kind of situations or anything like that.
Right. Okay.
And
so
if you're going to be getting to that, that's fine.
No, because I'm so into this, and I thought everybody knows everything. So let me take a few minutes, just no more than a few minutes. The situation here at actually what Florian was talking about that is getting worse is because now this issue, and Rick and David may speak to it more. They're professional, but from my perspective, this issue of patent assertion is nothing new. Ever since there is the patent system, people try to protect their patent. You get a patent, you sue people for infringing your patent. So this whole concept of protecting your own IP is nothing new, is the right thing to do. And go ahead.
I think there's another model of the patent where it's been misused, and I've been a victim of that, where companies, they buy a bad patent 10 years back, and they sue it like fishing. Because public companies, they don't want a litigation on their 10K quarterly report or yearly report.
Right, which is what Yamo will talk about at the end of this, which I hope will launch into 1 million questions. So just back to the high level, what we're talking about here is, what I see is that ever since the App Store, ever since the iPhone, there's a new generation of new developers. Not just younger, but more people are now being able to afford going on their own, writing an app. A single person development firm is not unlikely right now. So you have this new insertion of population of smaller developers. Now again, patent assertion is nothing new. Patent troll is nothing new. In the past they sue people in different industry. From my perspective, and Rick later on correct me if I'm wrong, right? So right now, and these people recognize the situation where you got a new population of developers, smaller developers, and they figured out that they don't, in the past, these software patent trolls, and you must have heard about the BlackBerry lawsuit, you may or may not have heard about the DoubleClick lawsuit of Microsoft. There are just tons of these, and right now happening, Apple against Samsung, against HTC, against Backward, right? So you just put all the big IT firms, and then they sue each other. Okay, that's fine. That's all great and fine. They have all the money, and then smaller non-practicing entity who just like me or whoever who have a patent and can sue these big guys and get a big payout. that is not new. You want to speak?
Just to kind of bring it home, describe for a second what assertions LoadSys is making with respect to, because I think the question was, why should I care? I'm just an app developer, and I couldn't possibly be doing anything that somebody would say is infringing. Now, could I?
Well, yes, you could. Well, there are two main reasons why you're at risk. Everybody is at risk. Number one is because what Florian has already talked about is because of some of these patents are being semi-misinterpreted, or something that's really broad is being patented. So what I'm being sued, in the heart of it, I mean, if I'm reading it not trying to be from a legal perspective, at a high level, what I'm being sued on is transferring data from a mobile device to the server and have it be available. That's what I'm being sued on.
Very serious.
And what Todd Moore is being sued of is having what he is getting a letter of is and somebody is accusing him of infringing on the concept of having in-app purchase. Not even that, right?
Just a link to the App Store.
Right, just a link to the App Store, okay? And there is a new trial that's coming up that's suing people, that is trying to suggest that people are infringing on their patent of having a Facebook feed, of Facebook, a similar type of feed, Twitter feed or Facebook feed. So that is coming up. And now you can see the list go on. And very soon you have people come up for, I mean, I heard about the double-click patent. Somebody sued Microsoft for infringing on their patent of double-clicking. And I think they won. That's the way back. So now, actually, right now, if you have a patent on double-click, sue the world, right? Now, the second part of the issue, so number one is there are such patents out there that is seemingly broad. So when the group that is suing me, they issue public statement saying that they're leader on the mobile business, and they believe they have invented the concept of transferring data from the mobile device to the server and make it available.
So I think the question that's being asked though is there a cheat sheet or a chart that says, here are all the patents that LoadSys owns, or here are the feature sets they claims on in their patents, and here are the types of features that might be in your mobile app that line up to those claims, in theory, according to them, and then allowing us to determine, is that really in my app or not?
Well,
I think all of us are affected, obviously,
Yeah,
because
I
I
mean,
read all their claims.
so on the Microsoft case,
Rick, do you mind?
In the Microsoft lawsuit, the issue, they claim that if you have a form that gathers data from a user and send that back to a server, then you didn't take a license from them.
And that's what I'm saying. So I've read some of their claims that they're making, some of the ones that have been published. But I'd love to see a chart that says claim versus feature. Here's a table. Here's the claim, and here's how it lines up to the feature, according to them at least, and what they're suing everyone on. So at least we have a comprehensive chart somewhere that says, okay, I've got 45 of these things to deal with versus one in my app. Let me work around that one somehow, right? If that's possible.
I
don't know how you put that together. I'm not sure.
The issue is that some of these patents are, the interpretation of the owner
Right.
is ridiculous.
Sure. I agree.
So-
I just want to know what their interpretations are so we know what we're combating against.
Well,
I can see if I can put together some links or something based on
I'd say it'd be an
statements.
interesting chart that would kind of clear it up.
I can show you my chart.
I mean, it's not just
In
Microsoft.
terms of LoadSys, I could speak to that.
right, so I want to tune back into, I mean, that is so I agree, right? This is what you want to see. The problem that we're facing is every month,
Right.
a new one of these come up, right? So the feed, it just pop up.
And the reason I'm kind of getting to it is my guess is once we deal with all these trolls or line them up like that on a comprehensive chart where we're adding to it as it goes on, you're going to find some of these guys actually conflicting with each other too. Just a guess.
But they don't produce anything.
Right.
So
True.
it
But
doesn't matter if
people
they
are
line
claiming to
up.
patent the claim, the exact same feature set.
It doesn't work
No.
cleanly that way.
And let me launch into the other side of the problem right now, which is the cost of just doing these. Now, in order to do this, you need to hire Rick, okay? Nothing wrong with Rick, but Rick is really expensive, okay? Not to try to put on the well, okay, let me put it right.
You just lost all the business you're about to.
All right, let me generic size a little bit. Good patent lawyers are expensive, okay? And in order to do any of these in this country, it's very expensive, and it's normally outside the range of small developers like myself, and I would say 60–70% of people on the App Store, right? And that is the other side of the problem, and somehow they figure it out. They figured out that in order to say, you cannot even afford to say no. And so what do? Okay, I'm not, right? So that is the other side of the big problem. One side is you have so many of these people claiming that you infringe, okay? So for that, you got to logically say, I don't infringe, or your claim makes no sense. However, the other side of it is, in order to say you don't infringe costs money. And a lot of time, even doing that is cost prohibitive for small developers. And hence the problem. Go ahead, AJ.
And I think it could be a time, you know, a company will sue a small guy. They're going to test their patent through the patent system to see if it goes through, if they don't get a license, unless they want to fight something out. Because they don't want to jeopardize their patent against, let's say, a big guy who's got a deep pocket that'll fight you, you know, full speed without any concern. So I mean, that's, you know, this could be just the beginning of a lot of other stuff coming on. You have to look at the entire picture. And as far as interpreting, by the way, I'm a patent attorney, but interpreting patents, I mean, it depends on which side of the coin you're on, and you know, what's in the prior art, what's your scope, what's your best argument, because there's something, Rick will probably tell you more than anyone, but patent construction, what the terms means. I mean, it's an argue, can determine whether the case is won or lost way, you know, early on. But the cost of it for a small developer is going to be prohibitive, you know, because you're going to have to think about a litigation firm that knows what they're doing, and typically the solo guys are not going to be able to handle it. So.
Right. Go ahead.
Are they suing only people that are making money in these sort of stores?
Nope.
Candidly, I don't think they really know their defendants.
On Twitter, some of the feeds I've seen, some hobbyists are getting sued.
Yeah, they don't know how big. Well, I think they know how the big companies are, that there are bigger companies, but I don't think they know how small some of the small companies are.
And
I talked to a guy on the phone shortly after that suit came out. He's in Indiana, and he said to me, "I make between $5,000 and $8,000 on my product a year. You know, how can I possibly be being sued?"
But it's not free, is what I meant. Are they actually distinguishing between free and paid apps?
There's no distinction in the patent law, and I don't think that there's any distinction.
But are these companies actually doing that and going after the money?
That's my point.
I thought there was a free app on
I don't think they know. I don't think they know everything they should know about their defendants. Is the point. They don't know if they're making money. They don't know how much money they're being made. They're, you know, it's hard for me to tell how. You look at a cross section of these companies. There's nothing that lines up, other than that they have forms that accept data and transfer it back to a server.
So my point to that question though was that if they are applying some equation or prioritization to it, which they shouldn't do if they were properly suing under reasonable situations, then there might be a countersuit to get the whole thing thrown out if they found that they were only going after big money or big fish or and you know, things like that.
Or what about a class action suit? Is that,
Well,
can you form a class of developers?
Is there any protection?
They're all being hit.
Class action defense.
What?
All right, go ahead over here.
Yeah, it's not that.